ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends, and students. My presentation is slightly different to those of the preceding speakers, slightly different, but I hope in some way it connects, because finally it's about human transformation. It's called a magic trick of perception. So I'm going to just tell you a story, and as I tell you the story, I'm really coming out of the closet. No, I'm not gay. But I'm coming out of the closet with this story, although it has been published in an academic paper. And the story revolves around my interest in magic and the use of magic in my teaching, and also my discovery that magic can teach us something about the way our brains work. So to tell the story, I originally decided last night I was going to sit over there, but I decided no, it's more intimate for me to stand up here in front. To tell the story, I thought I would like to evoke the metaphor of the movies, of the cinema. Okay? Because the cinema is a very powerful metaphor for the way we can create illusion that represents reality. We watch a movie and we get taken by it. The laughter, the tears, the immense pathos. And we don't realize that the entire movie has been very skillfully put together by artists in very, very complex and very subtle ways. And having come previously in my last life from a drama background, I can appreciate that. So I thought I brought some props here just to help us create the atmosphere of the movies. My first prop is, this is not part of the presentation, by the way. I'm just bringing a prop here so that a box of popcorn. We all go to the movies and we've got popcorn. So this is just a prop to help us evoke that metaphor. So I'm going to, now, please, I'm beginning to fumble like Leonard Green here. If I were a magician, I'd do this here and popcorn would fall out. But I've only brought a box, so, if you've been tricked into believing this is going to be a magic show, well, you've been conned, okay? That was part of the illusion. By the way, illusion means, it doesn't mean something doesn't exist. We are deluded about that word. It means not seeing what it really means. So illusion is something exists, but we do not understand what it really signifies. The story I tell may have a bit of pathos, or maybe I should just, get a handkerchief. Anything else in here? Well, popcorn might come out later, but I may need the handkerchief for the sad part. I don't know if Manoj will allow this here. I thought instead of bringing a bottle of Coke, I bring a bottle of champagne. But maybe this is advertising, so I'll leave it in the packet. I'll leave it over here. Oh, well, there's a lot of bottles. I'll just leave it over here, okay? The bouquet smells very nice. So, Manoj, we'll have some afterwards, okay? So we've got our props for a home theater, a bottle of lovely champagne, and a box of popcorn. So here's the story. And having come from a literary background as well, I've got the kind of mind that likes to see all the kinds of links. The story has a lot of synchronicity to it. There's lots of so-called coincidences. I'm not going to spell all of them out for you, but you figure them out. In 2007, in September, I was teaching a course for a rather large global corporation, and that particular program was called Coaching and Mentoring, or Mentoring and Coaching. And in the class, from that corporation, was a very talented young magician. And as life would have it, he, in a way, became my mentor. So there was I teaching him coaching and mentoring, and he became my mentor in the art of magical illusion. And on one of the days, he gave me one of his promo. I can't mention his name because it would be advertising, okay? But Mo Magic gave me one of his DVDs about his performances, and I took it to my daughter and her cousins to show them this DVD. And we had a great time watching this. And after the DVD, they said to me, "Why don't you show us some magic?" And I said, "Okay," and I showed them a few card tricks, and they were astounded by my brilliance. Not the same as Leonard Green, but I mean, somewhere similar. And then another cousin arrived, and they said, "Show him this magic trick. It's really great. You must see it." So I thought, I don't like to repeat my performance. Let me show him something different. So I tried a bit of mentalism. Now, you know what mentalism is? It's where I can predict things with my mind. So I was using cards, and I proceeded to do the trick. And I think I predicted a 6 would be the answer. And, well, it was close enough. A 5 came out. And I broke out into uncontrollable, hilarious laughter. And then I disappeared. And this is the part where I come out of the closet. I disappeared. And this is where the talk becomes serious. I disappeared for I don't know how many seconds or minutes. To the onlookers, obviously, they saw me doing a magic trick, laughing, and then slumping onto the chair. I could have had a heart attack for all they knew. I scolded them afterwards for not calling the ambulance. But they thought I was play acting. But I literally disappeared. Kriben was nowhere to be found. To give you the impact of that, how can I demonstrate this? Wait. It's like taking this bottle represents me, right? This bottle represents me. And in a moment, it was gone. That's what happened to me. I was gone. However, there was something that remained, which in the telling of this, I'm not going to be able to do any kind of justice, because language is going to confound what I'm going to try and tell you. What remained was something that is prior, I discovered, to any kind of self, to Kriben, to his social history. There was just something. But in telling this, it looks like Kriben was there to know this. No, it wasn't like that at all. Kriben then reappeared. And he reappeared like in the movie The Matrix, almost pixel by pixel. And so did the objective world. I even saw my daughter reappear as pixels until I was fully constituted again. It wasn't a pleasant, so-called mystical experience. It actually was really very, very uncomfortable. Something had happened to the brain. Oxygen was probably cut off, as happened when I was born, which accounts for the way I am now. It wasn't a pleasant experience, but in that experience, so-called experience, I discovered what all the great sages and mystics of the ages talked about, and which confounded me and which frustrated me. That there is no self apart from the world. That is the illusion. So let's just put on a slide. Can you put it on for me? Please, there's only one slide. The primary illusion that I discovered is that the separation of the self and the world, which we think is real, is an illusion. Actually, both are illusions generated by the brain, and this has been increasingly confirmed by the discoveries of neuroscience. That this me that we're so in love with, around which all our travails and conflicts occur, is something that doesn't really exist as we think it does. However, the primary delusion is not seeing who I really am. And who I really am is that which poetically I can call the ground of being. The ground where I'm actually not separate from you. The ground of awareness that allows me to be aware. And this is not a product of the brain. Now, how can you say, how do you know that? Well, very simple. We can conduct a thought experiment. The brain, logically, is a product of time. Right? And time doesn't exist. We're going to find that out right here and now. Those of you who have watches, or if you want to, count as I am counting. I'm going to count 10 seconds. Okay? My 10 seconds might be actually 8. It's just the way I do things. But, okay, that happened because what happened when I was born. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get the point. All those seconds that we say is time is actually happening where? Right here and now. And even that now we cannot say is happening now. So we really are in a mystery that we try to reduce to absurd notions, but which my colleague Shamim pointed out in his lovely presentation on complex adaptive systems, which Patrick Bond came to in another way, which Kumaran came into another way, that once we begin to understand who we are as the primary consciousness, not I am Kriben with a social history, that is simply an add-on. Once we change the orientation of our perception, and there's plenty of evidence now that's converging to talk about this, we will actually realize what the great spiritual traditions, in their pure forms, were talking about. Now that's interesting, isn't it? That we're coming to these understandings through science, but a mystical poet like Rumi in the Sufi tradition didn't have that science available to him. But yet he came up with the same understanding. So this understanding is prior to our conceptual systems. But it does require that we investigate our assumptions. Okay? So for these lovely young ladies here, I'm going to say to you, you must be able to investigate everything that you see. You must ask the question, is it true? Is what I'm seeing really what I think I'm seeing? Okay? Now, I've brought some. I'm not saying that this is the only thing that the university newsletter is worth, being cut up into small pieces of paper. However, I want to use it as a perception exercise. I'm showing you the pieces of paper. Manoj, you can just examine it if you want to. It's from the university, right? Okay. I'm going to show you these pieces of paper right from here, and also hopefully it's going to give you another felt sense of what it was like when I disappeared. Okay? I've got these pieces of paper here, and what I'm going to ask you is that in your perception, you must have seen a color. You must have seen a color. Try and project what color you saw. Project it to me. Remember now in my explanation, there's no separation between you and I. So I should be able to pick up your colors very quickly. What color Well, you could even have a look. What color did you see? Shout it out. No, it was green. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to say is, if we don't examine our illusions, we are going to be caught constantly in delusion. Thank you very much.